One of the purposes of this channel, ICAC Unpacked, is to teach people about how the two-tiered system is very different than how you have been taught. This is not somebody who was a former well-paid Justice Department lawyer. This is not somebody who was a former judge who's got a nice fat pension so that they can say whatever they want. This is someone who, for all intents and purposes, is a nobody. Nobody. I was a Latin teacher. And I'm not denigrating that. Actually, that's a pretty virtuous thing to be, particularly when all these other people are not going to tell you the simple truth as much as they talk on their podcasts and their clips about the justice system, about Trump and company. What they don't tell you is that to some extent, they are part of the tier of the two-tiered system that's under him, significantly under him, but they're still on the other side, and you and I are on that side. And I want to explain it by way of something you may have heard with Mr. Trump. But I could pick a number of other people too. You know, I've talked about Andrew Tate. I think one of the Tate brothers whining in prison because he didn't like the accommodations. They finally are put in solitary confinement where they're being treated the way everyone else is, and they're screaming to high heavens about it. So listen to this one. As you may have heard, Donald Trump, our president, after defaming a woman who beat him fair and square in court for molesting her many years ago in a store. She couldn't go after him criminally, so she went after him using civil penalties. That's something you need to understand. Civil penalties, real quick primer, you pay fines, usually only that. Criminal, you go to jail and pay fines, potentially. So she couldn't get him on criminal, so she got him on civil. And because he couldn't, and she won a $5 million judgment. And because he couldn't shut his mouth, he kept flapping his gums. And now it's $83 million. She sued him a second time, got an $83 million judgment. And that too is accruing interest. Well, Trump went up to the appeals court. He lost. He went to the next appeals court. He lost. He asked the U.S. Supreme Court, to take its 0.5% of cases that they take, of the thousands and thousands of cases, butt it in there so he could be right up front, as usual. And this time they said, no, we're not getting involved in this. So he had to pay her $5.6 million. The 600,000 was, of course, interest and penalties. Don't forget about the 83 million still accruing. So forget about that. But then he asked E. Jean Carroll, hey, E. Jean, you don't want me to really pay this, do you? To which she said, yeah, that's why I sued you. So then he went and tried to get a stay, that is, to get the judge to stop it so that he could continue to litigate it. And he did not go to the original district court judge in federal court where he was supposed to. He went right over her head because he knew what she had been saying in her motions against him, saying, no, time to pay. Ignored her, went right to the appeals court, and the appeals court kicked it back. And the lower court judge says, here's your money, E. Jean Carroll. And still he was complaining and tried to go over her head to the appeals court. Well, just think, folks, think for a moment. Your average and ordinary person, a person like me, a person like you, we wouldn't be able to do that. Those remedies would not, we get one bite. We try that crap one time, and he's tried it I don't know, like 70, 80,000 times. I don't know how many. And no court shut him down. The next time he should put a motion in for anything, they should block him. When I fought for my daughter's rights to see both her parents and to stop her mother from interfering and to go against her on what's called a show cause motion, which is basically she has to go before the judge and explain how it is she keeps violating it, the court punished me. The court said, I am no longer allowed to put in a court order against my ex-wife for continuing to violate in new and stunning ways our agreement to let me see my child for my child's visitation. And they got away with it. The Court of Appeals didn't look at that. Nobody did. So again, folks, don't let these little things that seem like, oh, that's just Donald Trump, don't let that go. This is something that should not be. It's not allowed for anyone unless you have a two-tiered justice system where it's wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Certain people get multiple bites at the apple, and other people don't even get an apple.